What if the sharp burn isn't an infection at all? Left unchecked, everyday choices can turn irritation into sleepless nights. Stay with me. I'll share a calm, practical path to relief you can start safely today. I'll start with a scene that might feel familiar. It's been a long day of bottomless coffee at the office, a diet soda with lunch because it doesn't count, and spicy takeout on the drive home. By evening, there's a light burn, a constant urge to go, and sleep gets choppy. Most people think it must be an infection and reach for quick fixes. I understand that impulse, but here's what often gets missed. Urinary discomfort can show up even when there isn't an infection at all. Sometimes the bladder is simply irritated by what we drink, how often we hold it, and even the way our core and pelvic muscles stay on high alert. My goal is to guide you through this with calm clarity and practical steps you can use today. I'm not offering diagnosis, and I'm not replacing your clinician, especially if you notice red flags like fever, back or side pain, visible blood in the urine, or you're pregnant or immunocompromised. In those cases, urgent evaluation is important. What I am offering is a way to understand your habits and reduce the everyday triggers that quietly fan the flames of discomfort. Let's begin with awareness. For 1 week, pay attention to 3 things: what's in your cup, how your body holds tension, and whether your bowel routine is comfortable. The pattern I see most often, especially with North American routines, is a stacked trio. Strong coffee refills in the morning, sweet or diet carbonated drinks in the afternoon, and a spicy, late dinner, all while sitting for hours and delaying bathroom breaks because of meetings, traffic, or long workouts. That combo dries you out, irritates the bladder lining, and teaches your pelvic floor to stay clenched. None of that requires an infection to create urgency, burning, or the sense that you never fully emptied. Here's a gentle reset you can start today. First, hydrate on purpose, not by accident. Pour a measured glass of water when you wake and another before lunch. Steady, not chugging. If you love coffee, keep 1 normal mug and then switch to a softer option like roasted barley or a naturally caffeine-free tea. The goal isn't punishment. It's to reduce the irritant load for a few days and see how your body responds. If carbonated diet drinks are a go-to, try sparkling water without artificial flavors or a simple slice of lemon in still water. Small swaps, repeated, make a big difference. Second, give your bladder a chance to relax. Pick 2 moments in your day, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, when you'll visit the bathroom without rushing or multitasking. Sit, breathe into your belly for 5 slow cycles, and let the pelvic floor soften, as if you're allowing the breath to widen the waistband of your pants. It sounds simple, yet many people realize they were straining or pushing to finish, which ironically keeps everything irritated. Third, check the rhythm of your digestion. Constipation is a quiet saboteur. When the bowel is backed up, it physically presses on the bladder and magnifies every urge. Instead of sudden fiber bombs, add gentle fiber that your body already knows. Oats at breakfast, a crisp apple, a small serving of beans at lunch, alongside water. Think gradual and consistent. If your belly feels gassy or tight, scale back a step and let your system catch up. There's also a mindset shift that matters. Many of us treat discomfort like a personal failure or a sign that something scary is happening inside our body. That fear can push us into a cycle of guesswork. Random supplements, megadoses of vitamin C, extra coffee to fight fatigue, then another late-night soda to stay awake. I'm inviting you to try something quieter. Observe for a week, make measured swaps, and notice how your body answers. If symptoms persist or worsen, that data helps your clinician focus the next step. If they ease, you've learned something valuable without drama. I promised a bonus, and I'll keep that promise later on. A tiny habit stack that multiplies results without special equipment. Before we get there, I'll keep unfolding why discomfort often isn't what it seems, and how to untangle the root causes with simple, safe actions. For now, capture your starting point in a few lines. Today's drinks, meal timing, bathroom habits, and stress peaks. That little log will make the next insights much clearer. I'm keeping this steady and responsible because accuracy matters in health. The right amount and the right method of preparation make the difference between relief and frustration. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results. It can also lead to unwanted side effects. I'll guide you carefully so you can apply it safely. Quick check-in before we move forward. If that coffee soda spicy dinner rhythm sounded familiar, you already have a compass. Your daily routine can irritate the bladder even when there's no infection. Today, I want to loosen one of the most persistent knots in this topic. The idea that any burning or urgency equals a bacterial infection that automatically requires antibiotics. Sometimes that's true, and timely medical care matters. But many times, the bladder is reacting to chemical irritants, concentrated urine, or muscle tension. Knowing the difference can spare you from unnecessary medication, recurring symptoms, and a lot of frustration. Think about what the bladder lining experiences across a typical North American day. Early morning, strong coffee, sometimes 2 or 3 mugs because refills are free. Afternoon, an energy drink or a cold diet soda during meetings or school pickup. Evening, buffalo wings, chili, or extra spicy tacos may be paired with a craft beer or margarita at happy hour. These aren't moral choices. They're common, convenient, and often enjoyable. Yet caffeine, alcohol, concentrated acids, artificial sweeteners like aspartame or acesulfame K, and capsaicin from peppers can act like tiny sparks on a sensitive bladder. They don't affect everyone equally, but for many people they add up. Here's a calm, practical way to test this without extremes. For 7 days, keep your total caffeine to 1 normal mug of coffee or tea in the morning. Then pivot to non-caffeinated options. Trade diet colas and flavored seltzers that rely on intense sweeteners for plain, sparkling, or still water. If you use a lemon slice, keep it to 1 thin slice to avoid over-acidifying. With spicy foods, shift the heat down a notch at dinner. Enjoy flavor, just not the late-night fire. Aim for steady hydration across your day rather than big bursts. This is an experiment, not a lifetime sentence. You're watching how your body responds when the irritant load drops. Pair these swaps with 2 small posture and breathing cues. When you sit to urinate, place both feet on the floor, lean forward slightly, and take 3 slow belly breaths. Imagine the pelvic floor softening downward like a parachute opening. Do not push or bear down. If urine flow starts and stops, pause and breathe rather than straining to force the rest out. Tension is sneaky, and easing it can reduce burning all by itself. A word about supplements and home remedies. Cranberry products can be part of a bladder-friendly routine for some people, but more isn't better. High doses of vitamin C, baking soda mixtures, or aggressive herbal blends may irritate the bladder, upset your stomach, or interact with medicines. If you choose to try a product, read labels, use standard servings, and give your body a few quiet days to respond before stacking new items. Education is power here. The amount and the preparation method matter. Now, let's talk about signals that ask for medical evaluation rather than self-experiments. If you have fever, chills, nausea, or vomiting, pain in your back or sides, visible blood in the urine, new urinary symptoms during pregnancy, a history of kidney problems, or symptoms that don't improve after your careful irritant reduction trial, seek professional care. Those are responsible boundaries, not scare tactics. They keep you safe while you explore lifestyle steps. To help you track progress, create a simple 2-column note on your phone. On the left, list the drinks and meals you choose. On the right, note any symptoms with a 0-10 scale and the time. Many people notice improvement within a week when caffeine drops, artificial sweeteners pause, and hydration becomes steadier. Others need a second lever, addressing constipation or pelvic floor tension, which I'll continue to unpack. Either way, you're building the kind of information that leads to smarter, safer decisions. If you're looking for immediate, low-effort wins today, here are 3. Switch one afternoon, drink to water you actually like the taste of, eat a fiber-friendly snack such as oats with berries or a small apple with peanut butter, and schedule one unhurried bathroom break before the evening commute. They're small, doable, and they signal your body that irritation and urgency don't get to run the show. I'll keep this grounded, measured, and hopeful. Your body is responsive, and when you reduce triggers with intention, it often rewards you with steadier comfort and better sleep. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results. It may lead to avoidable side effects like rebound urgency or dehydration. I'll walk you through it carefully so you can apply it safely. By now, you've seen how everyday choices, strong coffee refills, diet sodas during long meetings, and late-night spicy dinners, can imitate infection-like symptoms. There's another quiet amplifier that rarely gets a headline, and it surprises almost everyone. When the bowel slows down, the bladder often pays the price. The lower intestine sits right behind the bladder. When stool builds up or becomes dry and bulky, it crowds the neighborhood. Pressure rises, nerves fire more easily, and suddenly the urge to urinate feels louder, the burn more noticeable, and the sleep more fragile. If your week involves desk hours, car commutes, quick protein-heavy meals, and not much produce, this pattern is common, not a personal failure, just a modern routine that the body was never designed for. Let's walk through this calmly and practically. Constipation isn't only no bowel movement for days. It can be smaller signs, straining, a sense of incomplete emptying, stools that are hard pebbles one day and then nothing the next, or bloating that makes pants tight by evening. When that's happening, the bladder is living under a gentle but relentless squeeze. A lot of people chase the bladder symptoms while the real leverage sits one step upstream. Here's a 7-day gentle reset you can start without drama. Step 1. Hydration with rhythm. Pour a glass of water within the first hour after waking, another before lunch, and a third mid-afternoon. You're aiming for steady intake, not huge chugs that leave you racing to the restroom. If you enjoy sparkling water, keep it plain for this week. Add a single thin lemon slice if you like, but avoid intense sweeteners or syrups that can irritate sensitive bladders. Step 2. A fiber ladder rather than a fiber bomb. On days 1 and 2, choose one reliable fiber-friendly breakfast, such as 1 2-cup cooked oats topped with a few berries or a sliced apple. On days 3 and 4, keep the breakfast and add a small serving, about 1 to 4 to 1 to 2 cup, of beans or lentils at lunch, perhaps folded into a burrito bowl or a salad. On days 5 to 7, consider adding 1 teaspoon of chia seeds soaked in 1 2-cup of water for 10 to 15 minutes until they form a gel. Stir the gel into yogurt or a smoothie. If you've never used chia or you have any swallowing difficulties, skip the dry seeds and stick with cooked grains and fruit. Go slowly. If your belly gets gassy or crampy, step back to the previous level for a day and let your system catch up. Step 3. Movement. The gut understands. After each meal, set a 2 to 5 minute walk, down the hallway, around the block, up a set of stairs at an easy pace. Think of it as a gut glide that encourages the colon to keep things moving. If you sit for work, stand for a minute each hour and twist gently from side to side. Another option is a simple, clockwise abdominal massage. Place a warm hand just above the right hip, slide upward to the ribs, across to the left, and down toward the left hip in a slow square. Repeat 5 times with soft pressure. Stop if you feel pain. Step 4. The bathroom position no one taught us in school. Use a footstool or a couple of thick books so your knees rise slightly above your hips. Lean forward a little, rest your elbows on your thighs, relax your jaw, and take 3 slow belly breaths. Let the pelvic floor release downward rather than bearing down hard. If nothing happens in 2 minutes, get up, walk, and return later. Forcing and breath holding make things tighter, not easier. A few food swaps help as well. Many North American plates lean heavily on cheese, refined bread, and protein shakes, all quick and portable, but light on fiber. Try layering in foods your grandparents would recognize. A crisp pear with the skin, a handful of carrots and hummus, whole grain toast with peanut butter, or a small side of brown rice. If you like dried fruit, 2 or 3 prunes soaked in warm water can be gentle. If you're tracking sugars for medical reasons, account for those grams and choose smaller portions or different fiber sources. Let's talk safety. If you have severe abdominal pain, persistent vomiting, fever, or notice blood in your stool, or if several days pass without any bowel movement despite your careful, stepwise approach, pause the home strategies and seek clinical guidance. Likewise, if you've had recent abdominal or pelvic surgery or you're pregnant, make sure any changes fit your clinician's plan. Education and timing are your allies. The amounts and preparation methods matter. Now, for the part most people find eye-opening. When the bowel softens and empties more completely for a few days in a row, urinary urgency and burning often dial down, even when nothing else changes. The bladder isn't being crowded, the nerves aren't being constantly poked, and your pelvic floor gets a chance to relax. Many people report sleeping through the night for the first time in weeks after they adopt the hydration rhythm, the fiber ladder, and that tiny 2-minute walk after meals. It doesn't fix every cause of urinary discomfort, but it often removes a major contributor that hides in plain sight. To capture the change, keep a light log. Put 3 lines on your phone. Hydration, YN at wake, noon, 3 p.m. Fiber, oats, fruit, beans today. And comfort, 0 to 10 by evening. Data reduces guesswork. If you discover that 1 extra glass of water and a half cup of beans are your sweet spot, that's your personal blueprint. If constipation has been stubborn for months, you'll have clear notes to share with a professional, which makes care safer and more effective. I'm offering these steps because they're simple, common-sense actions with a good safety profile when done in the right amounts. Measure, prepare properly, and let your body respond. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results. It can also bring avoidable side effects like extra straining or increased urgency. I'll guide you through it carefully so you can apply it safely. If dialing down irritants and smoothing digestion has already taken the edge off, you've proven something powerful. Small, steady choices change how your bladder feels. There's another piece that often hides in routine and posture, and it explains why some symptoms linger even when you eat and drink more thoughtfully. The pelvic floor, the sling of muscles at the base of the pelvis, helps control urine flow, supports the bladder, and responds to stress, exercise, and habit. When these muscles live in a low-grade clench from long commutes, desk marathons, hard workouts, tight waistbands, or the habit of holding it through meetings, they can mimic infection-like symptoms, burning, urgency, and that frustrating stop-start stream. The surprising truth is that the fix isn't always to strengthen. Quite often, the first job is to help those muscles let go. Think about a typical North American day. A pre-work gym session with heavy lifts or high-intensity intervals, great for fitness, followed by a long drive with traffic, then hours at a laptop with your core lightly braced. Coffee refills keep energy up, a diet soda rides shotgun to the next call, and shapewear or snug jeans squeeze the midsection. None of these is wrong, but together they teach the pelvic floor to grip and stay on guard. By the time you finally sit down for a bathroom break, the muscles may be coordinating poorly. They're guarding when they should be releasing. That mismatch can create burning without infection and the sense of never fully emptying. Here's a simple, careful routine to retrain that system without strain. Twice a day, set a 3-minute drop, don't grip practice. Sit or lie comfortably. Place a hand on your lower ribs and breathe in through your nose for 4 to 6 seconds, letting your belly and sides widen like a soft 360-degree umbrella. Exhale slowly for 6 to 8 seconds, as if you're fogging a mirror with your mouth slightly open. On each exhale, imagine your pelvic floor releasing downward and outward like a parachute opening. You are not bearing down, you're letting the muscles unclench. If you notice a habit of tightening your jaw or glutes, soften them deliberately. After 6 to 8 cycles, stand up, shake out your legs, and continue your day. Pair that with a calmer bathroom ritual. When you sit to urinate, plant your feet, lean forward a little, rest elbows on thighs, and take 3 slow belly breaths before you start. If the flow hesitates, pause. Never force a stream by pushing your abdomen. Some people find it helpful to hum softly, an tone, because it relaxes the throat and pelvic floor together. If you've been hovering over public toilets, that posture forces your muscles to hold on. When possible, sit fully. Movement matters too. Swap one high-intensity session this week for gentle mobility. A slow walk after dinner, A few hip openers like a supported child's pose, or a figure 4 stretch held for 30-45 seconds without bouncing, or a short yoga flow focused on breath rather than power. When you lift weights or pick up groceries, exhale during the effort instead of holding your breath. This prevents pressure spikes that keep the pelvic floor braced. If your job requires hours of sitting, stand up every 45-60 minutes, roll your hips, and take 3 soft belly breaths. Clothing and seating are small levers with big payoffs. If you love high compression garments, consider giving your abdomen and pelvis a break during long work days. Choose waistbands that don't dig in. For car commutes or desk work, a cushion that tilts your pelvis slightly forward can reduce tailbone pressure and encourage more natural alignment. Tiny adjustments add up, especially when you make them repeatable. A warm bath or gentle heat pack across the lower abdomen or inner thighs for 10-15 minutes can promote relaxation. Keep the temperature warm, not hot. Avoid using heat on irritated skin or areas with decreased sensation. This is about signaling safety to the nervous system, not forcing a change. Now, one of the most counterintuitive truths: more Kegels are not always better. If your pelvic floor is already overactive, repeated squeezes can make symptoms worse. The tell is how you feel after a day of being good. If extra clenching leaves you more sensitive or more urgent, shift your focus to release, length, and breath for a while. If you're postpartum, have chronic pelvic pain, or notice leakage with coughing or laughing, consulting a qualified pelvic floor physical therapist can tailor strategies safely. Professional guidance is especially helpful if you have a history of pelvic surgery, trauma, or complex pain. Safety guardrails keep this exploration responsible. Seek clinical evaluation if you develop new fever, back or side pain, visible blood in your urine, numbness in the groin area, or progressive weakness in your legs. If you're pregnant, postpartum, or recovering from surgery, align your breathing and movement work with your clinician's plan. Your goal is comfort and coordination, not heroics. To capture your progress, keep a small note. Tension check, morning, evening, breathing cycles, how many felt easy, and comfort, 0 to 10 by bedtime. Many people report that a week of release-focused practice leads to calmer urgency, steadier flow, and better sleep. It's not flashy, but it's repeatable, and it puts control back in your hands. I'm keeping the tone measured for a reason. Health changes stick when they're simple and safe, when amounts and methods are clear, and when you give your body time to respond. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results, it can also bring avoidable side effects like increased straining, dizziness, or rebound urgency. I'll walk you through it carefully so you can apply it safely. You've already tested 2 powerful levers: reducing common irritants and helping the bowel move with a kinder rhythm. If your nights are a bit quieter or the burning has softened, that's not a coincidence. It's your body responding to less friction. Today I want to make the path even easier by replacing the stealthy triggers that linger in a typical North American day. This isn't about perfection or restriction for its own sake. It's about making deliberate swaps that lower the irritant load while keeping your routine realistic, flavorful, and social life friendly. Start with the morning. Many people thrive with a single normal mug of coffee, but symptoms often climb with refills. Keep the first mug and enjoy it fully. After that, switch gears to a gentler cup. Roasted barley or another caffeine-free grain drink, a smooth rooibos, or plain hot water with a very thin slice of lemon. The goal is not to erase comfort. It's to keep the bladder's chemical environment calmer for the rest of the day. If your habit is a large cold brew, try pouring it into a smaller cup and matching each sip with a sip of water. That tiny pacing change often prevents the concentrated surge that aggravates the bladder. Midday is where sneaky irritants gather. Diet sodas, flavored seltzers with intense sweeteners, and energy drinks pair perfectly with meetings and commutes. But ingredients like aspartame, sucralose, or isosulfame K can provoke sensitive bladders. Trade those for plain sparkling water or still water you actually like the taste of. A slice of cucumber or a few crushed blueberries can be enough to make it feel special without adding acids or sweeteners. If you prefer something with body, unsweetened coconut water can be a pleasant bridge, though it's not a free-for-all. Half a cup sipped slowly is plenty for most people during this reset. Evening dinners often bring the heat: buffalo wings, chili, extra spicy tacos, or pepper-packed marinades. You don't have to abandon flavor. Shift to herbs and umami: rosemary, thyme, smoked paprika in smaller amounts, garlic powder instead of raw garlic, and a squeeze of olive oil with lemon zest rather than a hard lemon squeeze. If salsa is non-negotiable, look for mild versions and smaller spoonfuls, especially late at night. Alcohol is another common spark. Consider a 2-on, 1-off pattern where you enjoy a drink on 2 evenings this week and choose a mocktail or sparkling water with lime on the third. Your bladder will recognize the break. Look closely at protein shakes and bars. Many ultra-convenient options rely on sugar alcohols such as sorbitol, mannitol, xylitol, or erythritol, which can bloat the gut and indirectly stress the bladder. Building your own is simple: a cup of milk or an unsweetened alternative, half a ripe banana or a handful of berries, a spoon of peanut butter or plain protein powder, and some ice. It's satisfying, and you control the inputs. Label reading is a quiet superpower. Scan for natural flavors, artificial sweeteners, and long acid lists, citric, phosphoric, in drinks. Choose the simpler option for a week. In the bathroom, skip perfumed washes, feminine deodorant sprays, and daily use of cleansing wipes. Warm water and a mild pH-balanced soap on the outer skin are enough. Choose breathable cotton underwear, change out of damp swimsuits or gym clothes promptly, and avoid sitting in sweat for long periods. Hydration works best on a schedule. Aim for a glass within an hour of waking, 1 before lunch, and 1 mid-afternoon. Then taper slightly in the last 2 hours before bed so sleep isn't fragmented. Chugging is not the goal. Steady intake is. If you're exercising or it's hot outside, add small amounts more frequently rather than a single large bottle. For your pantry, build a bladder-friendly short list you can actually shop today: plain still or sparkling water, oats, brown rice, pears and apples, carrots and cucumbers, beans or lentils, mild salsa, olive oil, and an herb blend you love. With these on hand, you can assemble breakfasts and dinners that feel normal while quietly nudging symptoms down. A bowl of oats with berries and a drizzle of peanut butter, a rice and bean bowl with roasted vegetables and mild seasoning, or a simple baked chicken with herbs and a side of carrots and hummus will support your goals without feeling like health food. Sleep and posture matter more than they look. If you wake to urinate, check whether late-night fluids are part of the picture. Cap beverages 2 hours before bed while front-loading your water earlier. For long drives or desk blocks, schedule a brief stand-and-breathe break every hour. 2 slow belly breaths, shoulders unclenched, jaw loose. These micro-pauses tell your pelvic floor it doesn't have to stay on guard all day. Keep your safety net in place. If you develop fever, chills, back or side pain, vomiting or visible blood in your urine, or if you're pregnant or immunocompromised, seek medical care rather than extending home experiments. Likewise, if symptoms remain intense despite a careful week of swaps and steadier hydration, that's useful information to share with a clinician. Precision protects you. The right amount and preparation method make all the difference. To measure change, use a simple 2-column note on your phone. On the left, what you drank and ate, plus any swaps. On the right, a comfort score from 0 to 10 at mid-afternoon and before bed. Many people see clearer patterns by day 4 or 5, less urgency after lunch when diet soda is swapped, calmer evenings when dinner heat tones down, and better sleep when fluids taper reasonably. That clarity makes your progress repeatable. I'm laying this out in a calm, practical way because health changes stick when they're simple and respectful of real life. You can absolutely enjoy coffee, flavor, and convenience again, once your system is calmer and you know your personal thresholds. For now, consider this a short restoration phase. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results. It can also bring avoidable side effects like rebound urgency, dehydration, or stomach upset. I'll guide you carefully so you can apply it safely. You've done thoughtful work so far, easing irritants, restoring bowel rhythm, and helping your pelvic floor let go rather than grip. That sets the stage for the central insight I promised from the beginning. Urinary discomfort is often framed as a single dramatic problem. But for many people, it's a braided rope of smaller strands that pull on each other all day. When the bowel moves slowly, it presses on the bladder. When the pelvic floor is tense, the bladder struggles to empty and becomes more sensitive. When caffeine, alcohol, intense sweeteners, and late-night spices wash over a bladder that's already crowded and guarded, the lining protests. The overlooked cause is not a mystery microbe. It's the combined pressure of constipation plus muscle tension, amplified by everyday irritants. Unbraid those strands and the system quiets. I promised something practical that you can prepare safely at home, with clear amounts and a gentle profile. Think of it as a calm companion while you keep the other levers steady. Barley water, made simply from pearled barley and water, has been used in many kitchens as a soothing, non-caffeinated drink. It is not a cure or a substitute for medical evaluation, and it isn't right for everyone, especially if you cannot eat gluten. But when it suits your needs, it can provide hydration without the sparks that some drinks bring. Here's how to prepare it responsibly. Rinse 1/4 cup of pearled barley under cool running water until it runs mostly clear. In a medium pot, combine the rinsed barley with 1 liter, about 4 cups, of cold water. Bring it to a gentle boil, then reduce to a low simmer. Partially cover and cook for 25 to 30 minutes, letting the grains circulate softly. Turn off the heat and allow the pot to sit for 5 minutes. Pour the liquid through a fine strainer into a clean, heat-safe container. Discard the grains or save them for a salad. Let the liquid cool until just warm. You can add a single thin slice of lemon for aroma, but skip sugar, syrups, or artificial sweeteners. Store any unused portion in a sealed container in the refrigerator and use within 24 hours for best quality. How to use it without overdoing it matters. Sip 1 small cup in the late morning and another in the mid-afternoon, noticing how your body responds. For most adults, 1.2 to 1 cup per serving is plenty during this reset phase. If you have celiac disease or gluten sensitivity, choose a gluten-free alternative such as rice water prepared the same way. 1/4 cup of well-rinsed white rice simmered in 1 liter of water for 20 to 25 minutes, strained, cooled, and sipped plain. If you have kidney disease, are on fluid restrictions, are pregnant, or take medications that affect electrolytes, align any hydration plan with your clinician. Why this helps is straightforward. You're offering the bladder a neutral, non-caffeinated liquid while the bowel decompresses and the pelvic floor relearns how to release. That lower irritant environment reduces the background noise so you can hear what your body is telling you. Many people describe steadier comfort and fewer nighttime trips when they replace afternoon diet sodas with a small cup of barley or rice water for a week. It's not magic, it's chemistry and mechanics working in your favor. There are a few guardrails to keep this safe. Keep your preparation clean. Wash your hands, use a clean pot and strainer, and refrigerate promptly. Do not leave the drink at room temperature for long periods. Use the measured amounts. More isn't better and can backfire with bloating or extra nighttime urination. If you notice new symptoms such as fever, back or side pain, visible blood in your urine, severe abdominal discomfort, or persistent vomiting, seek medical care rather than continuing home experiments. Education protects you. Good methods and correct amounts make your efforts effective. I also promised a small bonus that multiplies the benefits without special gear. It's a simple 3-2-1 stack you can remember on busy days. 3 servings of gentle, real food fiber spaced through the day. Think 1 2-cup cooked oats at breakfast, 1 crisp apple in the afternoon, and 1 2-cup beans or lentils at lunch. 2 unhurried bathroom visits, 1 late morning, 1 late afternoon, where you sit fully, breathe into your belly, and let the pelvic floor release instead of rushing. 1 minute of soft belly breathing for the pelvic floor, inhale for 4 to 6 seconds, exhale for 6 to 8, done anywhere. In the car, before you turn the key, at your desk before a meeting, or on the couch before bed. Layered on top of your swaps and your movement, this stack often turns small gains into steady comfort. If you've been living with discomfort, it's easy to feel discouraged or impatient. I want to name something important. Your body is adaptable. When you give it the right inputs in the right amounts, it responds. The combination of smoother digestion, calmer muscles, and lower irritant hydration is not glamorous, but the results, better sleep, fewer bathroom sprints, a quieter mind, are deeply practical. Keep your log going for a few more days and notice the trend rather than chasing one perfect day. If your symptoms persist or you have any of the red flag signs we've discussed, bring your notes to a clinician. You'll have a head start and a safer plan. As we close this part of the journey, take a breath and give yourself credit for steady effort. Share what you've learned with someone who might need it. Health knowledge grows stronger when we pass it along. And, if this guidance helped, consider supporting this work by liking, sharing, or subscribing, so more people can find calm, clear steps. Your attention to amounts and preparation is what keeps this safe and effective. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results, it can also bring avoidable side effects like dehydration, dizziness, or rebound urgency. I'll guide you carefully so you can apply it safely.